What up, traders? How we doing? I'm, of course, in the headquarters looking at the day, and it's a bloody red day, that's for sure. We'll take a look at what happened today, but let's get right to the market. The market action, just not loving what came out from the Labor Department today. We'll talk a little bit about that. We'll take a look at what stocks were moving, what wasn't. Of course, technology being the only thing green from the open. So we'll take a look at some of those stocks. Some of those stocks were able to hang in here. And then we'll take a look at what got hit the most, right? Of course, you guys see energy, oil. We've been looking for the bearish side. Of course, OPEC came out and cut about 1 million barrels, but we talked about how that really wasn't a massive amount. And look at the levels that are happening in the XLE right now. Let's go to that as our first story here. Let's get to the market. Of course, you guys can see the downside action coming in the hourly chart here. We're going to continue taking a look here, but definitely seeing that quick downturn there. And you can see it on the daily multiple times to try to get through this 458, 460s. Now we're pulling back below the 90 EMA. Are we going to make a pullback all the way to 444s here? And that's where it gets a little bit difficult because a lot of people are looking to see the Qs and the tech trade stay strong, right? But let's get into our story today. Of course, oil taking a downturn. And we've been pointing out this area right here multiple times. And I was talking about how if it could reject there one more time, how that would probably be the area that we could see this really start to cut down. And boom, did we get it on Monday? What a great opportunity. A takedown back through the 82s. I talked about it this morning on PreMarket Prep that I wanted to see those levels be taken to the downside. And if that happened, you could see that continued leak. Let's take a look at some of the greats, right? Halliburton was one that I'm thinking about shorting, and you can see it on that report. Boom. Now it's starting to really come down. Now it's starting to break this chart. Another one, Slumber right? Look at that. Continued downside there. PSX. Phillips 66, turning around from the top. This is one that I can actually look for a little bit of a move back tomorrow to maybe get short on Phillips 66 as it's just starting to crack. Take a look at Valero. Valero is just starting to crack also on the daily. This is one that I'll be watching to maybe make a move down towards 115, 116, but definitely stocks that we can be looking at. In Oxy, I don't think Warren is going to come to save you this time. We were waiting for that crack when it happened last time, coming down to the 56. I think eventually we could be down to 50, maybe even going down towards the 45 area on Oxy. Of course, if you guys have any oil stock you guys want to talk about, throw it up in the chat. That's what I'm here for, guys. And definitely smash the like if you guys are enjoying it. I got to say it's a little bit weird not having my headphones on, but hey, I'm feeling good. Let's get into this market. Let's keep talking some stocks. All right, let's see what else is moving on the market. Today's one of those days where I want to see these just like you guys are, right? Want to take a look at what did really well, what didn't do well. Let's take a look at the high cap names to take a look at that. Of course, you're seeing Apple down a pretty good amount, almost a full percentage, down 1.07 here. You guys are seeing Microsoft down big, Google down, NVIDIA down big, 456, Meta down big. Google, they're all just getting hit hard here, and especially from the leadership. Look at NVIDIA down 3%, leading the downside action. And same thing is for AMD. It tried to make an up move today, just could not hold on. And even Intel coming right back down. So there we see that definitely technology still kind of had a decent day, even though from the open, a lot of this came down. So what's doing well here? Well, let's take a look at the industries. That's why we can work from sectors to industries, right? Well, you see consumer electrics did pretty decent today. And where was that helped by? There was, a couple of stocks that we can take a look at, but not too bad there on Sono. Got a little bit of a lift there. And I mean, there's just not much in here. There's just a lot of it just being able to hang in right now. Let's look at electronic gaming stocks today. Those definitely taking a hit also. Let's see, Take-Two, another down move here. And it's been retracing. So this is one that I'll keep my eye on, but we're definitely seeing some downside in the market here. Let's keep getting out of technology. Let's go to some other names. Let's take a look at the cyclical names. Was keeping an eye on the department stores and things like that. And finally, Macy's taking a little bit of a pullback. KSS starting to turn around. So are we starting to see that seasonality that was playing towards retail starting to turn around? Is Santa Claus coming to town, or is he bringing just coal this year? Let's take a look at the XRT. XRT with a little bit of a pullback opportunity here. I'm going to actually be looking to see if we can cut back into the 65s, especially tomorrow, and then look to see if this can ramp again. But of course, you see the leadership here down about 2% there, but a decent stock today. Walgreens Boots Alliance actually having a decent day there. So, hey, that just goes to show you there's different stocks out there. Walgreens turning things around a little bit, but it wasn't a pretty day there in retail as a lot of stocks took a hit. Let me see if the Ulta finally turned back, and no, close to 495. We were looking at this at 390 here on Start Swing Trade. So if you were playing that Ulta swing trade for the end of the year, we talked about how makeup is one of those products that does get bought into the holidays, and there you guys see it. Nice lift. Let's take a look at Victoria's Secret. This actually looks like a good opportunity for me, Nick. This has been hot. I played this back at 18, was looking for the 20 break. It broke all the way out to 29. Now, if we can catch around the 9 EMA, that's around 25.04. I think that looks like an interesting level for me, especially 25. I'll be watching for this to pull back, maybe even into the 200-day moving average into 23.61s. This one could still do good, I think, until the end of the year, as you'll see some buying going on, of course, into the Christmas holiday. We'll see what happens there on Victoria's Secret to see if it can keep moving. Starbucks is one that has pulled back significantly and kind of filled the gap here. So this is one that's definitely on my radar. They could start moving to the upside. I might actually take a swing trade on Starbucks. Actually, doesn't look too bad here. All right, let's keep going. You guys smash the like. Let me know what stocks you guys like. And MLGO, man, Nick, you're going to make me struggle on this one, dude. Oh, man, guys, let's just say I missed out on a massive win here, guys. We could probably be taking a trip to going to spend some of this money today, but I got shook out on this stock around the 380s, and I was looking for the 4 rip. It eventually happened, and this stock went all the way to 10, guys. I could have been, let's just say, making a good 5-6K today on this trade. It's crazy. But hey, you stuck it out. Hey, it's how it goes sometimes, man. And I think I just got in way too big, way too quickly. I had about 800 shares, so you could just imagine. But where do you catch this action, of course? You catch this on live trading. If you're not watching our live trading show, of course, you're missing out, team, because this is exactly the type of stock that we mentioned on live trading. So smash the like if you guys enjoy those smaller names, and big move there. How did that other one, was it Sarah? Yeah, Sarah, I've actually came back down. It got all the way up there to 10, eventually coming back down to 6. There's some big movers moving out there, team. All right, utilities, the greenest today. Utilities, they're not doing that bad, right? Still from the open, not doing the best, but not looking bad there in utilities. Why would utilities be working their way up? Well, of course, if we're expecting to see rates come down, the XLU should get a little bit of a lift. We've been thinking about this with that XLU. It's been hanging in there. Duke is another one that you can be playing on this. Of course, NEE, Nextera Energy. I like Excel. So Excel Energy, this is one that I've used in the past, and it's starting to get going. So utilities, not looking too bad. What options do you suggest to pick up right now before the market closes? Well, I don't suggest anything because I'm not here for financial advice. And to tell you the truth, options aren't my expertise. So I would be leaving that on the sideline. I do equity. You got equity questions? I'm all for it. Or maybe you're looking for a trade. I can look out for that. They're defensives, and when the Qs sell off, they'll be on them. Yeah, I mean, to somewhat nature. I think the interest rates is maybe playing a little bit of a stronger factor. And that's what I've been hearing from experts also that are looking at utilities. They also understand that if this is the final hike and from here you can expect rates coming down, then utilities kind of make sense here. Let me pull my mic a little closer. You guys probably hearing me a little bit far there, but there's the action. We'll see what happens on that. Did gold come back a little bit today? Nah, it's still on the pullback here. So taking a look at the gold, but it's been hot as of late. Who's a gold bug out there? Who likes that? Silver looks a little bit better for the pullback bounce. We'll see what happens on silver. All right, let's keep going. Let's get out of that. Financials just slightly down after making a huge run. GS, I'm looking at it on a little bit of a pullback action. And let's take a look at SoFi. I was watching this earlier today. I was wondering how this would close. This did make a little bit of a move up there towards 845, and then pow, the market just smacked it right back down. It isn't looking good at all right now. Let's keep going into some other area. Healthcare pulling back. How are the big boys doing here? Let's take a look at drug manufacturers, of course, the bigger stocks. Let's go to the daily chart. You guys can see how these kind of been going sideways after a recent downturn. Lilly just hanging in there, trying to make the move back through 600. It's kind of sleepy. If we could really get a next rally in the market and healthcare takes part in it, this doesn't look too bad for a nice little up move through that level. I will set an alert at 599 to see if Lilly wants to make a move through 600, but a move back down in the 570s also is interesting for that downside action break. We'll see what happens. Merck has been trying to recover 105s multiple times, and you can see it here on the monthly, how it's starting to play sideways off of that level. I think at this point, we need to be alert to see if we start to see healthcare come back, the drug manufacturers, and actually start to see a lift. AbbVie not looking bad here on the monthly and daily overall. It's been hot as of late. It's starting to get the motors going, and this one has a nice longer-term chart to go off of. Let's see if they really start driving it. And one impressive factor is the amount of volume that came in on the first initial move from 138s to the 142. And GME, I can take a look at GME in a second, but we'll see what else is making moves. All right, let's keep going, guys. Real estate has been hot as of late, so that's finally pulling back. Let's take a look at Toll Brothers and how that performed on the day. You can see it had decent move there. I'm taking a look also at kind of the builders, right? Car was one that I brought up this morning, and I'm looking to see if this can make the next move up. Of course, BLDR having a decent day, but now pulling back. So giving an opportunity here to maybe get a little bit of a pullback action. We'll see what happens on Builders First Source and to see if some of these building materials can continue to run. And of course, coal is on the pullback. Of course, energy was thought to start running again. So these actually set up really nicely for some downside action to come in. And I know that Santa is bringing the coal. So maybe it's time to look for some downside in coal stocks. Doesn't look too bad, guys. Look at CEIX. That got crushed today. BTU starting to pull back. HCC is really hot. AMR. I would look at the ones that have the highest RSI to be looking for that turnaround. These actually don't look too bad. AMR and HCC could really start coming down, especially with the downside that we're seeing in energy. All right, let's keep going, team. Of course, if you guys have any stock that you guys want to check out, please throw it up in the corner there. It's about 3:49. We got about 10 minutes left here. And then, of course, we'll get you over to the next show, which is going to be the Trade to Black podcast. Of course, I'm going to be even producing it on the road here. So smash the like and let's keep going. Only on Benzinga, of course. Let's take a look. What else can we find on the trades? Of course, industrials have been hot as of late. Take a look at the XLI. Look how quick of a move it made from the bottom all the way up to the top of the range. At some point, I think these stocks are going to actually start to pull back. And so we can start taking a look at maybe we can get short on XLI in the next attempt to break to the upside and then start to see these industrials really start to come down. Of course, these are kind of your lower PE names. Boeing has been really hot as of late. And this is one of those stocks that I could see turning back to the downside. I mean, Look how quickly it came up to the upside, and it's definitely overbought. We'll just have to see what happens to see if we get some downside action starting to pull back. Money Mitch wearing his court case threads? Nah, man. Come on, man. You think I go to court like this? I look too good to be in court, man. But yeah, let's keep going. Generac not doing too bad. This is going to be stocks like that. I mean, let's take a look at Deere. I saw a kind of a Wall Street mention that it was a strong buy. This just tells me, I mean, this hasn't really got off the ground. So if the XLI is going to continue, yes, we'll get Deere to go back through 400 on the upside. But if we keep seeing this struggle here in Deere and it makes a move to like 300 or 330s, let's say back down towards this 200 moving average, well, that's when we can start to see the XLI give up. GE's been hot, so we need that to pull back a little bit. And then maybe we can start seeing this really start to crumble. CAT has been slowly coming back. You see how it's not going back as much as Deere is? I think that's something to keep an eye out for. Jay, you bringing up some earnings for tonight? I mean, there's some definitely on the radar. Chewy, GameStop. I wonder what happened to GameStop. Let's see what happens with that. Can it get the actual lift? I mean, it's hanging out here. I'll tell you one thing, it's hung out here for longer than I thought it would, but we'll have to wait to see what happens there. GME going to miss big? Yeah, it very much could. All right, let's take a look here at Nike. Nike continuing, man. I remember when I brought this up when he was just starting to get out of October, going into November, looking for the retail run, and it's been on a good move, about 15%. Let's take a look at Crocs. How's that doing here? It's pulled back since the recent run. This was one that I was talking about also, and I feel like these footwear and accessory stocks have gotten a good lift. Are they going to start to turn around? That's the hard part here. I know DEC has been really strong. Got up there to the 700 just yesterday, so maybe we can get a little bit of a pullback action on. Let's see how that is. That's pulling back already. And if I take a look at, like, let's say like a Skechers, yeah, this looks like it's ready for a little bit of a pullback. I mean, that's a pretty good move there in Skechers. All right, let's keep it moving here. Let's go towards the next section. Let's go to some defensives. How's that doing right now? Looks like some discount stores bouncing back a little bit. I'm keeping a close eye on Costco because that's the one that's been staying hot. But Target's not far behind, and it hasn't really pulled back since that rip off their earnings. So that's one to keep an eye out. Dollar Tree starting to pull back. Ollie's had earnings this morning. It's not looking good off the earnings, but it was hanging in here before. Let's take a look at the daily chart. Daily chart has been hanging in there off the 74. So keep your eyes on that 74 to see if we can kind of still hold that on support. It needs to come all the way back to 82, but it seems like it's starting to get tired and maybe ran into some overhead supply and sellers starting to get out. That's why I'd be a little bit careful. BJ is starting to come down. Costco could come down in a hurry. We'll find out. Walmart doesn't look good. It looks like it could break and get back closer towards the 150. Dollar General earnings tomorrow. Let's find out what happens to that Dollar General. Of course, the way that it's looking like on the day, it's not my favorite day to report. And a stock that's already ran this much, let's just say I'm leaning more to the bear side, but I won't be betting on it. The truth is, betting on earnings, it's usually a disaster. All right, let's keep going. Let's take a look at some other areas here before we end up the day. Let's take a look at Kathy because she was doing decent early, and you can see the turnaround here. There were some stocks that were up, some stocks that got hit. Shop turning back to the downside. Square was hot early, and I was trying to play Square and PayPal, but I wasn't able to get in. They're still hanging in there a little bit, but I definitely keep my eye on ARKK because it turned around in a hurry today. Tesla dragging down to 239.50s. Are we starting to see the decline on Tesla? I mean, if the Cybertruck couldn't get it back through 250, what will? I don't know. I don't like Tesla going into next year. I think at some point next year, we might see it back down below 200. So I'll be waiting for those pullback opportunities. All right, guys, it's about what time we got here? 3:54. We're going to wrap up in about 4 minutes. We still got a little bit here, a little bit of ticker time. You guys throw up some tickers. Anything you guys want to check out, you guys have that time right now. Let's take a look at what else is making moves in the market. All right, let's go to the top movers today in the Qs, as that was what was up. And the top movers I have is Walgreens, PayPal. We talked about those two. Lucid. Lucid getting a little bit of a move. Moderna trying to get a little bit of a move off the bottom. I don't trust that. Zoom tells me something, right? Take a look at those growth names. What's in the gutter? Starbucks from the open doesn't look too bad. It's up about 1%. You got KHC doing a little bit of a move. I can see some move into these defensive areas like packaged foods. We'll see if it actually can get the lift. And what else do we got here? We got Lulu. Lulu, of course, has been a big rip. And this is playing into more of that retail names, right? The high flyer, A&F. Are we finally starting to see this retail trade give up? That's one thing that I'd point to. If I start to see this break, and I'm going to actually set an alert there, I need to catch this because I've been waiting to see when A&F will turn back to the downside here. And I want to bet on it because I think it can make a huge drop, maybe getting back there towards 66, something that I'll keep an eye out for. Let's go to Riot there. Let's take a look at the crypto stocks. We can go to Mara and those. I think you might get a pullback towards this 1350. And so you got to be careful with Riot. Of course, it's pulling back off of 1560s. Mara also doing a little bit of a pullback action. I think we're going to get a little bit of a chance to get that pullback. And then after that, we need to see if we finally get the ETF to come out, right? The spot ETFs, because that's the only thing that's going to help. But what also hurt it was comments from Jamie Dimon today, pretty much saying that, if I were the government, I'd close it down. So that's something just to take a look at. It's definitely affecting it. Regulators are not going to take away, I think, cryptocurrency. But is this like mixed noise with the spot ETF and then, of course, the stocks lifting and then also cryptocurrency itself giving a big push? Is this just a trap? That's what you need to be asking yourself, investors. The truth is, I don't have that answer, and I don't think anybody does, because you would have to know if the spot ETFs are coming out or not. We still don't have a specific date that says, yeah, it's coming out this day. And I think that's something hard to play on when you're playing a binary event, because let's say if it gets denied or it can't go through, well, we could easily see these stocks head right back to the downside. All right, guys, so we'll see what happened, what other stocks are being mentioned here. Let's go ahead. Let's keep it going. All right, just give me a second. I got to get the stream up here. But what other names are you guys keeping an eye on? Looks like Cat. All right, we talked about Cat a little bit there. I'm looking for that to start turning around. Let's go to Chewy. It's 358. We'll end up on the Chewy outlook in this stock. When you're looking for short interest and you're looking for names that get pops on trends like that, like a short squeeze, Chewy is one of those names. So I would keep my eye on this tonight to see if it starts to rip. I can't take the shot now because I'm way too far in the price action on the day. But if you're already in, let's say somehow at 18, it's going to be interesting to watch the report tonight. Like always, you guys can catch that report on pro.benzinga.com. Get Benzinga Pro, of course, so that you guys can keep up with these releases. When the earnings come out, you'll know the estimates. You'll be able to be on top of your game. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us. We're going to go ahead and wrap up the market here. And I will see you guys bright and early. And boy, oh boy, is it a red finish out there. Man, didn't expect to see this. But hey, that's how the market is, guys. You have to be nimble and quick. And as a day trader, you need to be even faster. And having that ability to flip is so important. We'll see you next time right here on Start Swing Trade. Up next, you guys have, of course, the Trade to Black podcast. That's where they talk a little bit about the cannabis action, the Web3 action, and psychedelics if you're looking for different investments. And I'm telling you guys, there's still going to be that day when cannabis finally gets federal legalization, and I'm going to be super excited to watch these OTC stocks come to the U.S. exchanges. Smash the like, guys. I will see you guys bright and early on Pre-Market Prep. Like always, guys, this is for informational purposes only, not to be used as investment advice, and opinions do not represent those of Benzinga. We'll see you next time, and bright and early on, of course, Pre-Market Prep. I will still be here in Detroit. Let's see if I can outdo myself tomorrow. Like always, let me know what you guys enjoy on Start Swing Trade and what you want to see more of. Just hit the comments right after the show. Now, to bring you guys over to the Trade the Black podcast, starting up at 4:10.